what a way to kind of get that like summer feel. I don't know if cherries are a summer fruit, although I will say I have cherries all year round. I love them. I use a lot of frozen, and just a hot tip for everybody. They are just as nutritious as fresh. They are picked at the peak of their freshness and processed in a certain way where all those nutrients are locked in. So I'm sure, if I know Jeremy correctly, we're using some frozen ones here, but they are delicious. You can have them all year round and enjoy those antioxidants, those bright purple, red colors.
Yes, they are frozen cherries. Love frozen cherries. To make a very, very simple cherry sauce, we take our frozen cherries, about 1.5 cups. We're going to add a little bit of honey for sweetness, and then a little squeeze of lemon juice. Again, like Michelle mentioned, lemon juice is optional. If you don't tolerate it well, then you can just use a little bit of water in there instead. Or you can even use the lemon zest, actually, or just a piece of the lemon peel, and then that way you can remove it afterwards, just to give it some of that lemon flavor. So that you're going to simmer about 10-15 minutes until it thickens up nicely, and you have this really nice kind of syrupy cherry sauce, which again, we're using cherries instead of strawberries or blueberries. And Michelle, what's the reason behind that?
Yeah, so the reason is we don't want to have the seeds stuck in the mixture of the fruit mixture, because seeds can kind of get caught when we're swallowing. So we want to make sure that it's nice and blended, and the frozen cherries already have the pits removed, so that's an even better reason to get those. And we're still getting the benefits, the health benefits from those bright red and purple kind of fruits that you would also get from the berries. So that's what makes cherries a good option for this.
Perfect. So we have the cherries, and now this would be for the regular texture, just because you still have the chunks of cherries or larger chunks of cherries in there. Run this through your food processor until you get a nice, smooth, creamy cherry sauce like this. Which again, tilt test, right? The spoon tilt test. I don't know if you can see that. Right, and again, you can thin it out, thicken it out as you need, but pass this through a sieve just to be sure. Those frozen cherries, again, the beautiful thing about them is that they're already pitted, which is nice, but you can never be too safe. Run it through a sieve. I have found a pit in the past before. It's very rare, but just run it through a sieve just to make sure, and you're going to just end up with a nice creamier sauce anyways. So there's our sauce. And then for our custard component, what we're going to do is we're going to add a couple little pieces of, I guess they call this laughing cow. We call it like formaggino. I think that's a made up word. I'm not sure. But it's like a cream cheese, like a nice soft cheese. And we're going to add just a little bit of that and some nice yogurt. And a thicker yogurt. You can use a higher fat yogurt if you want. In there.
And we're making sure with any cheeses we use, they're always pasteurized, none of the raw cheeses. And the yogurt's a great option as well, good source of protein. Just keeping in mind for those that are receiving cancer treatment or have a lower immune system, that we're just choosing the regular yogurts and not the ones that say the word probiotics on it or extra probiotics. We don't want to get too many of those when someone's immune system is lower. So the regular ones are fine. If it doesn't label probiotics on the front, it should be okay.
And then I guess, Michelle, the same point for honey, like you choose a pasteurized honey, right?
Yes, it would have to all be pasteurized. Right, so if you're ever unsure from a food safety perspective, ask your doctor or the dietitian.
Perfect. So I had a little bit of vanilla extract in there as well. And we're just going to mix that up. Right.
If somebody couldn't have honey, they could use another sweetener in there, maybe like a maple syrup or something.
Absolutely. Yeah, maple syrup would work really, really well. Yeah. Yeah, and we don't need to make it too sweet. Like our cherry sauce is already going to be nice and sweet. This is just going to add just a little bit more. It is a dessert. All right, so we whisked it all together. Nice and creamy. Again, you shouldn't have chunks because everything is nice and soft and smooth that we're adding to this. But if you do want to run it through a food processor just to be sure, you can definitely do that. So we have the cherry, we have the custard, and We have our angel food cake. You can make this yourself if you're feeling ambitious. Otherwise, no problem getting, the store-bought, already made ones or the boxed ones. I'm going to show you using that just because it's a little bit easier too. The only thing, so for our regular, we could just tear it off as is and assemble into whatever dish you're doing. Add a little bit of that custard mixture, that custard yogurt mixture to there. And then a little bit of that cherry sauce as we go. And then back up, layer it again. So we'll do like a 2-layer thing here. Take your time, make it prettier. I'm running against the clock. Couple cherries.
I can attest to them being a little bit prettier the last time we met to go through this. But they still look great.
For the mince, what we're going to do is we're going to remove any of those brown bits on top, right? We went through this before with the fish. We don't want to get any of those brown bits because it won't mince easily. And then with just the white part of the cake, we're going to throw it into a bowl, okay? And we're going to add a little bit of the syrup, the thin syrup, to that from the cherries. You can even do milk if you want.
I'm just going to add, Jeremy, so there shouldn't be any regular dry breads or cakes on a minced diet or a pureed diet because they are a choking risk. So that's why we're modifying this by adding moisture, and we're also going to change the texture of it by either blending. In this way, we're going to mash for the minced and make sure it meets all the minced requirements with our fork test.
All right, so we're going to mash that up with that liquid. And again, if we need more, we'll add a little bit more. You don't want to go too much. We just want to make it just moist enough so that it breaks apart easily. I know we're just past 1, but we're almost done.
And this would be okay with these like sponge cakes, but a regular bread probably wouldn't mince with the fork. So just keeping that in mind, we don't want any like lumps or anything like that in it.
Yeah. So you can see this is breaking up very easily with our fork. Again, same thing. Make sure it passes small enough to pass through the twines of the fork there. But we also don't want to make it too soupy where if we lifted it up with our fork, sort of like dripping down below. We don't want that either, right? So really nice and minced here, just perfect. So that's what we would do for our cake. Put it into, and we'll just do 1 layer here just to show you. We're going to put it into our little dish. And then again, we know that our yogurt custard is nice and smooth. So that's going to go on top. And then the sauce that we pureed, again, and we'll put a little bit of that on top. So we have this really nice cherry trifle there. And then the last thing with our cake puree, we're going to want to run that through our food processor. All right. And again, add a little bit of that cherry sauce or add a little bit of milk, a little bit of moisture, just so we know that we can get a nice puree. We'll do a little bit at a time, not too much. Make sure you put it on correctly, which I'm not doing. Okay. Run it through. Every once in a while, you might need to just work down the sides. Right? And I can see I need a little bit more product in there as well.
So even with the minced cake that we're making, everything is individualized. So even if you're told you need a minced diet, if you're still having trouble eating certain foods like the minced cake, then you may need to also puree this. So I think it's important to also kind of in and listen to any signs that things might not be going down the right way.
All right, we're getting there. I'm really struggling with this lid.
That's okay.
Okay. And again, any product that comes up the sides, you just want to stop it. Make sure we puree again. Okay, beautiful. So I can see it's really nice consistency now on our cake, just to show you. And again, run it through your sieve again, just in case. We're gonna have this really nice mound of the cake, and then it should come off easily, which is what we want. Beautiful. And then again, layer into our little ramekin. So we're making this look a little fancier. And I've added some of the custard already into that cake, so I don't have to add it again, but I want. And we can just add a little bit of that cherry sauce on top. It's pureed. And there we go. We have our mince, regular, and puree for our cherry vanilla trifle. And that's the last recipe. I know it was a little late, but we did it.
We did it. There was a lot to go through. I am going to direct anyone, if they do need more information about how to follow minced or pureed diets, you can go to the International Dysphagia Diet Standardization Initiative website. So it's www.iddsi.org, and they do have resources for individuals that explain how to follow a minced and pureed diet as well.
I added it to the chat. And we'll be adding it in the description of the videos as well. These videos will be posted shortly with some notes from Michelle and the recipes in detail. But thank you, Michelle, so much for joining us today in celebration for Head and Neck Cancer Month, Awareness Month. And
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thanks for sticking around. I know we went a little long, but I really appreciate you joining us today. And don't forget to, for all of our classes on our YouTube channel, on the third Thursday of every month, we are back in May. The next third Thursday, I think it's the 20th, third Thursday. I think Michelle's checking, I'm not sure, but I think it's the 20th. Again, for any questions that you might have, you can always reach out to us. But otherwise, thank you so much. Take care. Have a wonderful day. And we will see you again.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.